Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Maybe money is what we're going to be talking about today, but actually, we're going to be talking about all signs and this powerful full moon coming up in Libra. I've got some astrology to mention to you, but even if you don't know anything about your birth chart, this energy will affect you in all 12 signs. So first, we'll talk a little bit about what's going on up there in the stars. Then we're going to be doing your angel messages. We'll start off with an overview of the overall energy with a Celtic cross. I'll show you real quickly on the camera here. We'll be going to a deep dive with the Celtic cross here. And then we're going to be doing all 12 signs. We're going to be talking about the energy, the transformation coming through for you. And of course, relationships are a big part of this full moon. Even if you're not here for relationships, it could be a relationship to your work, to your body, to a creative project, or it could be actual relationships because this full moon is in Libra, which is ruled by Venus. We've had Venus retrograde for a few weeks now, and right after the apex of this full moon, the Venus goes direct. So I'll be getting into that a little bit more, but I wanted to share with you too that I am also using a new deck that I have never used on this channel before that I think will be powerful for this full moon. So stay tuned to that for the all 12 signs. And then at the end, as always, we will be doing your bonus angel messages where we go into actions you can take right now to take advantage of this full moon and this powerful astrology we have coming up here. So please let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from, even if you're not here live. I love reading all your comments. I always read every single comment that you put. It makes my heart so warm to connect with you that way. And if you are new to my channel, you are very welcome here. I'm Devon Doer. I'm an angel intuitive and spiritual teacher. And I go live every Monday and Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central. On Wednesdays, we always have a topic. So last week we talked about ladybugs, the spiritual meaning if you see a ladybug. I have a whole playlist on different spiritual meanings of seeing different animals and insects out there. But also, because of this powerful full moon, I wanted to make that the topic today. I know a lot of you really like it when I do the all 12 signs. And keep in mind that you want to listen to all 12 signs because we have all 12 signs in our chart. It's not just about your sun, moon, and rising. So I'm going to ask you to grab your journal if you haven't already. Get it ready right now because I'm going to want you to mark some things down in your calendar. If you have a copy of this book of evidence of mine, it's a custom journal I have for sale on Amazon. It comes with a 4-part webinar, but it has templates in here. One of them is this routine record, which I want you to use to track these cycles. And then it has calendars and of course dotted pages for tracking and my famous custom intuition tracker where you can track all your signs and symbols. That's the calendar, not the thing. This is the intuition tracker here. So grab it because I want you to write down anything that resonates with you, any angel bumps you have that come up for you. And first, go ahead and take note in your calendar. Of course, you can use any journal you want. I just invite you to put it all in one place so that you can give your future self that gift of hindsight and really make sure that you connect the dots. So if you want to just jot down some of these dates here, I think you're going to find it beneficial to look back on in another month when we have another full moon or even at the new moon. So grab your journal and start writing down these dates. So this full moon is apexing on Saturday, April 12th here in the US at 7:22 p.m. Central. I love that it's got that 22 angel number there. If you haven't seen my angel number series, I do one on 222 and I also talk about the number 22. But it's happening Central Time 7:22. So Eastern, that'll be 8:22. Pacific 5:22, and of course your other parts of the world it may be the next day, but go ahead and notice how you're feeling right now because we are already in this full moon energy. I've been hearing from a lot of you in the comment section. People have been DMing me, friends, family messaging me saying, oh, I am feeling this full moon. So right off the bat, I'm going to ask you to just sit and observe this energy. This is not an actionable energy, especially since Venus is it is not direct until after the full moon. Plus, Mars was retrograde for quite a while and it's not out of its shadow. So let's go into a little bit more dates for you. So of course, that's April 12th. Not only do we have this powerful full moon, but we have Sun conjunct Chiron, which can bring really powerful healing if you're open to the healing. Those of us who may be turning a blind eye to something that needs to be healed from the past, it might come up, an old wound from the past may come up in a disruptive way, but you are getting a heads up right now, or even if you're watching this video after, to think about the things that have been coming up for you during this powerful eclipse season we just finished, okay? Because this is almost like wrapping up that eclipse, since we had Venus retrograde, we had Mars retrograde. So this Sun conjunct Chiron is something to think about with past wounds that may need a little more healing, or things you didn't even realize you still needed to do healing work around. Then, of course, the next thing that after that Sun conjunct Chiron Saturday, we have the full moon. And then after that, Venus goes direct. So that's 3 powerful transits all in one 24-hour period, depending on wherever you are in the world. It's still a really close thing that's happening there. And then after this full moon next week on April 17th, if you want to mark this in your calendar, Mars finally moves back into Leo. So it was in Leo before it retrograded, and Mars likes being in Leo. But then when it retrograded back into Cancer, not so fun. So if you've been feeling a really crunchy energy, especially in relationships and people around you, people who are moody, people who are passive aggressive with you, that's this Mars in Cancer energy here. Mars likes to be bold and upfront and charging ahead. So when it's retrograde, and it's especially retrograde in a water sign like Cancer, it's not super happy. So I've been looking forward to this date myself. I have several family members and friends who have Mars in Cancer on their natal chart. So I've seen this affect them directly. And so when Mars moves into Leo on April 17th, we will begin to feel this action, this energy of moving forward. So any of you in the comments, let me know, have you felt like you wanted to move forward with something and it's just not going? I know I have. I have a big project I'm working on right now, and it felt like I had all this momentum and then it just stopped. And that was this Venus retrograde that we're in. That was Mars still being in its shadow. That it was Mercury retrograde. Thank goodness we're finally out of that for a little while. That it went direct Monday morning. If you're listening to this video now live, that was this past Monday. So that should feel really good, April 17th. Then April 19th, the sun moves into Taurus. So we will be wrapping up Aries season. I hope you've had a fantastic birthday season, Aries. And we'll be moving into your birthday season, Taurus, April 19th. So this should feel really good for everybody as well, because we're finally feeling like we can start to bring things to fruition. It's that manifestation energy. Then Mercury will be out of its shadow on April 26th. This energy you may or may not feel. It kind of depends on where you are and how it affects your chart. I always keep an eye out for it, just because Mercury is now direct does not mean there's not some other things that were revealed during Mercury that you're just not aware of. So, if I'm not really feeling motivated to send an email or have a phone call or conversation about something, I wait. I wait until it feels right, because a lot of times it still needs to get out of shadow. Then on April 30th, Venus will be moving back into Aries. So this is something I wanted to bring up too. While this full moon is apexing, we have a stellium in Pisces, which means you have 3 or more planets in the same sign. So we have Venus in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, Mercury in Pisces, and North Node in Pisces during this full moon. So that's another really watery energy that actually is kind of beneficial for those of us who are having a little bit of a hard time with Mars in Cancer, because it's trining Mars in Cancer. So Venus trine Mars is a positive thing. I have my Venus and my Sun in Cancer, so I've definitely been feeling it. I'm looking forward to that. But all of us are feeling that really watery energy. Neptune finally moved into Aries. Otherwise, that would have been another planet there. But we're feeling this new Neptune and Aries energy, but it's just getting started. So keep that in mind as well. And then Venus will be moving back into Aries in April 30th. So, Venus loves Pisces. So you might feel a shift around that. That's why I ask you to just mark it on your calendar. And then Mars will finally be out of its shadow on May 2nd. So that will feel good too, because it will pass the degree at which it began to retrograde in Leo. And 2 days later, on May 4th, Pluto stations retrograde. So it's like we get like this barely little breath of air, of no retrogrades, and then May 4th we have Pluto. But that's okay. That's a bigger energy and actually can feel kind of like a relief. It feels like that school's out for summer. That's the song that plays in my head, School's Out for Summer, with Pluto retrograde, because it is usually like right around the time my kid's school is wrapping up, and you can feel that summer vibe coming in if you're here in the Northern Hemisphere. So that can be positive too. So that's not going to be a big thing. It's just that you're going to start to see the things that Pluto was transforming while it was direct. You'll start to see kind of the fallout. I don't like the word fallout because it kind of sounds like it's going to be a negative thing, but it's just like the things that we may not have realized were being transformed. We'll begin to see like, oh, wow, that has really shifted. So that can be a positive thing. And then Venus will finally be out of its shadow May 16th. So I wanted you to know that date as well, May 16th, because I think that's when we're going to finally feel like things are moving forward. It's going to feel like this exciting energy. We're going to have the information we need. If you missed my angel messages on my Monday live, please go check it out. They're part of these full moon messages because it's still all part of this energy. And one of the big themes that was coming up for all 12 signs is we're all waiting to get this message or this communication from someone or something. And it's like, when are we going to find out? And the angels were talking about how it's just not in our highest interest to find out right now because not everything's been decided. When Mercury changes, when it either goes direct or it goes retrograde, people change their minds. So because Mercury just went direct on Monday, you may not have heard from somebody or heard about a project or anything because people were still making up their minds. So that could be one of the reasons too. We're going to go into all 12 signs so you can get way more clarity on this, but I think it's really important, even if you're not that familiar with astrology, to just mark these dates on your calendar, because that's what I like to teach when I'm teaching you to develop your intuition, is you've got to write down the energies that are influencing you so you can have that powerful gift of hindsight and go connect the dots. And I've shared this before. Right now, I'm reviewing some of my journals from 2016 and 2017, and I'm having all this new level of epiphanies of the way I was being guided and the way I was being put on my path and all these things several years later. And I'm constantly thanking my past self for writing it down. And I teach a way where you can do it where it's more in bullet points. So if you're not a big journaler, you can just do bullet points, you can do dates, but these are all really powerful dates to keep in mind that I just listed so that you can begin tracking things. And a lot of people will say to me, I don't know what to put in my journal. Well, start putting these energies in there and then notice what other signs you have. That's why I do other videos on angel numbers. I do videos on spirit animals and things like that, because all these messages come together to gently guide you. Now, if you are new to my channel, please know that I always say a prayer protection, that I only connect with the highest vibrational beings. If you want to see my prayer protection, it's linked below. You can download it for free. You can even keep it as a screensaver on your phone. So when you see an angel number on your phone, the prayer pops up there too. All right, well, let's jump into these angel messages here. I will be putting the timestamps for the overall energy for all 12 signs and the bonus message, which please stay tuned to the end for that, so that we can you can go back as many times as you want. This full moon energy is going to last at least 2 weeks, probably more like until the next full moon, because of all these energies here. So you're probably going to want to come back and look at some things and again, use that gift of hindsight. So grab your journal, write down anything that resonates with you. And also thank you for hitting the like button and sharing this video with anybody you can. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It really helps my video reach others so I can bring you more. So let's jump into this Celtic cross here. I want to say hello in the chat too. How's everybody doing? Are you already feeling this full moon energy too? I feel like I'm getting a lot of messages on that for sure. We've got Noelle here. Hey, girl. Heather, good to see you, my beautiful friend. Yes. Hey, Heidi, good to see you. Hubert, hello. Antoinette, hello from Ontario. Anita's here. Hello. And Heidi. Yes. Hi. Hello. Oh, I said hi, but hello again. Daisy, I love your kitty cat icon. It makes me so happy. I have a black kitty named Max. It's actually my youngest daughter's kitty, but they're all family, right? Daisy's here from California. Graham's goodness. Love your username. Thank you for listening from Maine. I am so grateful you're here. Thank you for being here too. Hello, Anna. Love your emojis there. Hope your weekend went well. Anna's in one of our community members, and we did our custom readings last week that we do every month, and I do bonus messages for my community members. If you want to find out about it, you can hit the join button below. But Anna had a big weekend, so I hope it went well. Oh, no problem, Hubert. I'm glad you're here now. Great to see you. Wonderful, everybody. Hello, Leisha. Great to see you from Alabama. Charity, hello from Arkansas. Yes, great to see everybody. Hi, Danis. I know you said you have to work. You'll watch later, but giving you a shout out anyways. Kim Priestess, hello from South Texas. Where in South Texas are you? I'm in South Central, just north of San Antonio. Hello, hello. Blondie, good morning. I'm glad you made it. Hello, Deborah from Connecticut. Persian doll, hello. You're feeling it. Yeah, I'm seeing it in my kids. I'm seeing it in, family members and friends. So it's here, but that's why we have each other to support each other. Yes. And Yvette from West Virginia. It's so much fun seeing where everybody's tuning in. And I know many of you have to watch this on the recording later, but I do love seeing where you're tuning in. I saw a friend from Christchurch, New Zealand on the Monday one. So it's just so fun to see the way that we are uniting in this amazing Lightworker energy. And if you are new here, spiritual alert, you are a Lightworker. I'm just going to go ahead and switch over and look you in the eye and tell you this. If you're new here, spiritual alert, you are a Lightworker. These messages found you. You came here to connect with all of us here in the community, and I'm very honored to have you here. All right, let's switch back to this Celtus cross and see what's going on for this main energy here. We have at the heart of our spread, if you missed my Monday live, this is a new setup I'm really excited about because you can see the cards a lot better. I hope you can. And I can hold them up a lot better so that you can focus, although I need to not cover it up. Now, I don't read these cards literally. I read them intuitively, but this card is at the heart of our spread. We have the Queen of Earth. So thoughtful, creative, warm, sensible, make time for those around you, take a sensible approach, deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. So what this card is addressing in the heart of our spread is that it's affirming what I said earlier in the astrology. This is an energy of observing. And if somebody comes to you needing your support, do so in a kind and compassionate way, but you don't necessarily have to take action. That's one of the things that the angels will always do at the beginning of the spread, at the heart of the spread, is they will address the energy we are in right now and validate some of the questions you have. Like, you may not even know what your questions are when you first come into this reading, but they're going to answer all of your questions. They're going to give you clarity. So make sure you are writing down anything that really sticks with you. But again, it's that energy of observing. Like I said, because Mars is in Cancer, so we don't want to charge ahead and take action on something when we're not fully clear, especially with Venus still being retrograde until after this full moon. So it's just not a time to take things on in a big way. I mean, obviously we can't just sit curled up on the couch until after the full moon, right? But you want to just you want to kind of take that, what's the emoji of like people eating popcorn? It's kind of like we want to take that approach of, I'm just going to sit back and observe this energy. And this goes for people around you as well, like driving in traffic, being at the grocery store, any plans or events you have coming up. Keep in mind they're feeling this energy even if they're not paying attention to it. I always like to remind you all of the time when I had my second daughter. I went into the hospital. I was actually scheduled to go in that morning, but my water broke, so I went in earlier than I was supposed to. And they said, oh, we were about to call you and tell you not to come in. It's a full moon and everyone's coming in off the ambulances about ready to give birth. And I was like, what? That's a real thing? I mean, this is way before I actually studied the cycles of the moon, because they were like, that's a real thing. Like people who work at hospitals, people who work at schools with kids, police officers, they all know that this energy affects us all. And like I said, when we have Sun conjunct Chiron, it's bringing stuff up. but it's all for the healing. It's all for the healing. So it's going to be positive ultimately, but that's why we want to sit and observe. So that's a really, really validating card to get there, because it's letting you know that you're the grounding energy here. And by sitting back and observing, you are helping those around you, and you are really bringing a soothing energy to your environment. You're setting the tone, right? And if you need to, get outside, go ground yourself, go for a walk, go to a park and get away from that energy a little bit. Starting now, you don't have to wait till the full moon. In fact, it's probably good to go ahead and make plans to do that every day if you can. I know some of you are still experiencing some chilly weather in parts of the world that makes it a little harder, but maybe put on some nature sounds, find a YouTube channel or something that you can watch. Now let's look at this crossing energy here. We have the 8 of Earth. It says skilled work is rewarded, learning all there is to know about a topic, going back to school. So this is the energy that is challenging. And so what it's really doing is it's addressing the feeling that I mentioned earlier that things aren't moving forward. You're like, but I've been putting all this effort into this and I'm not seeing any results, or I've got everything I need to get started, but I'm waiting on this person to decide or this information to come through. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. And so they're saying this is the challenging energy they realize you're facing. So keep going with adding to your skills. You will be able to use these skills to manifest the things you want. Now, many of you may be retired and you're going, hey, I'm not working on a project right now. I'm not working on, changing my life with my career or anything. But there are other things you could be doing to add to your repertoire. I always say, look at these 3 areas of your life: your relationships, your health and fitness, and your career and finance, which could also be legacy, right? So make sure you are thinking about those things and adding to it. We've got free YouTube University right here, we're all on right now, where you can learn pretty much everything you want. I think I shared with my community the other day, I have a headlamp out on my car, and I found a video for my exact car and how to replace it. I'm like, this is amazing. I haven't done it yet. I keep procrastinating because of Mercury retrograde, but we'll get there. And so remember, there are so many opportunities to keep learning, and just keep doing that, because you are going to finally get this energy to move forward once we have Venus direct. But they like to address that for you up front, that they know you've been working hard behind the scenes. They know you've been learning something. They know you're ready to invest your knowledge. And it's like, when am I going to be rewarded for all this hard work? And, they're letting you know, like, we see that, but it's coming. And this information you're waiting on is, it can be hard sometimes to sit there and wait for a message. It's the watched pot never boils analogy, right? Which it does eventually boil. I always like to say that. All right, let's go into what's coming up in the root of our spread here. We have the Emperor, organization and logic, structure and discipline, and leadership. All right, so what this card is addressing here is that keep going with putting structure and discipline into your work, because you will be seen as a leader in whatever it is you're doing. Even if you're retired, you may be, seen as the leader for the family when you start planning a family vacation, or you start helping out with other things that the family needs and really helping heal things, because we do have that Queen of Earth energy too. So you may be the person that people are now coming to for guidance. And this is going to be really powerful when we start to see the energy move forward. So keep that structure and discipline that you've been implementing with all these retrograde energy here. Keep going with the organization. Be logical with your approach, and you will see that people will see you as a leader. And that's been a big thing that I've been doing for these retrograde energies, is just going through and purging and releasing what no longer serves me, like literally using the KonMari approach of thank you for your service, but I'm going to donate you now because I don't need you. This is too much clutter. Let's clear it out. So this is also we're still in that energy of clearing away what doesn't serve us. The moon helps that. You may not even know some of the things that need to be cleared away, but just stay open and observe because it will be revealed to you. So let's go into the recent past card here. We have the Seven of Air. It says plans that need revision, more going on that meets the eye, poor timing. Now this is coming up in the recent past. So this is just addressing that again, the reason things haven't moved forward the way we want them to is because things were retrograde. We needed to wait for this information to come on. There were things going on behind the scene, or it just wasn't the right time to act. And that can be hard when you're really inspired to do something. You've been working so hard on adding skills or growing something or investing in what your heart wants, and then it's just not the right time. And you're like, okay, well, we have to accept that this is happening for us and stay in divine flow. So how about we all use my favorite pocket affirmation? If you want to write that in the comment section below, I am in divine flow. I always feel this big, deep breath come through when I'm doing it, and it's powerful to do it 3 times. Use the power of 3. I am in divine flow. I am in divine flow. That will help you with this energy where it's like poor timing and nothing's moving forward and I've been doing all this work. Use that to just trust divine timing. We will have another pocket affirmation coming up here for you as well, but thank you for writing that in the comments. I appreciate it. And let's go on to the current energy we have here. The Star card. Archangel Jophiel, happy times, make positive, optimistic, long-term plans on the right path. I love this card for the present energy because it validates a lot of the messages we got on the Monday Live. Make sure to check that out. And it was talking about how we need to have that 5-year plan. Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And then we want to back into the energy of now. So 5 years from now, where do you see yourself? 3 years from now, what do you need to be doing to get there? 1 year from now, where do you need to be to get to that 3-year mark? And then back it down to where we are now, where you still have this time to revise things, review things, use that visualization. But when we have a card like the Star card here, they're asking you to think about the things that make you feel like a star in your life. You may be saying, hey, I have no interest in being on camera or being a celebrity or being on the public, out there in the public like a politician. But it could be that you're the star in your own life, the star in your own adventure, and you really are the star of your own life, And too often, society convinces us to give our power away to other things when really you're the star of the show. So let's go ahead and write that pocket affirmation. I am a star in my life. I am a star in my life. I think that's a perfect pocket affirmation to affirm this present energy and to help you hold space for things to finally begin to move forward after this full moon and Venus direct. I think that's going to really help you with that energy. So let's see what's coming up in the near future to help with that as well. We have the 9 of Fire card. It says, don't give up. Don't give up. Protect what you've created. Have courage. Believe in yourself. So again, it's reminding us that over these next few days, maybe even a couple of weeks, it might feel like, well, what have I been doing all this for, right? Especially when it comes to relationships. We've had some things revealed to us, but more is yet to be revealed with relationships, which when we get to all 12 signs, I'm going to be talking about relationships. And we're going to not know, do I give up on this relationship or do I? And what you're going to find is some relationships you may decide to leave behind because in order to protect what you've created, you've got to move away from that energy. Or it could be that you do need to protect the foundation that you've built with the relationship. You need to put more energy into that and trust that even though things have been really disruptive, especially with Mars retrograde in Cancer, that doesn't mean we just give up on the relationship. Now, only you can know what that is for you. And it's going to take you looking for the signs and symbols. But like I said, we'll go into all 12 signs so you can get a little more clarity. And also, usually it's the first person that pops into mind, but not always. There could be other layers there. And, again, you may not be able to really see what it is until we get past this full moon because it's kind of wrapping up these eclipses, right? All right, so moving over to what our personal power is. Let me just check in with the chat here. Hello, everybody. So great to see everybody in the chat. Thank you for writing that in the comment section. I really appreciate it. Oh, thank you. Persian Doll likes the lamp in the background. I moved it this weekend. I kind of rearranged my studio. It's always been back there, but my chair hit it, and so you couldn't see it on camera. So I decided to move it, and then I always forgot to turn it on anyway. So I'm glad that was worth it. Yeah, I rearranged the whole studio so that I could sit closer to the camera, so you could see the cards a little bit better. And I love that everybody's the star in their life. I love that so much. And notice how we're using the, the present tense, right? Right? We're not waiting like I'm gonna be a star. It's I am a star, right? All right, here's your personal power. Ooh. You can't make this stuff up. For a full moon, we have the release card, Archangel Azrael, the end of a phase or situation, spiritual transformation, time to move on. I just got head to toe angel bumps. The deck I'm going to be using that's brand new for this channel, I've had it for years, but I've never used it on this channel. It's a transformation deck, and you'll see it. It's absolutely beautiful. So this is validating that all these changes, all these endings, all these things that we're moving on, that's actually where our power comes from, and you might think, well, how is losing my job bringing me power? Well, you're not meant to know everything right now, but it might be that the only way for you to move on and finally take that step to do something different with your career was to be forced into it. Or it could be something with a relationship that you were hanging on because of nostalgia, or because you've put so much time and energy into it. And it's like, you know what, but this just isn't working. It's time to move on. So ask Archangel Azrael, if you're somebody who likes to work with the angels, ask Archangel Azrael to reveal to you what you need to release. A full moon is already about releasing things, right? Sorry, it's the little bit of a glare there. But it's already about releasing things anyways. And here they're saying this is your power. So I think that's really powerful there too. And, if you are somebody that likes to engage in some kind of ritual around the full moon, you can start right now taking your salt baths, getting yourself near water, doing your journaling. I do have a full moon angel card spread below if you want to pull your own cards. It's totally free. You just click on the link below and put in your email, and I'll send it to you right away if you want to pull like an extra reading here. I always do a separate reading for the moons from my daily reading. When I wake up in the morning, of course, I've always got my journal. I sit down, I do my prayers of gratitude. I check in with my routine record. I write down any dreams I had or signs or symbols. And then I also will pull angel cards for myself every single day. The same ones that I do for the bonus at the end of this. I do the present energy, the near future, the future, and 2 actions to take. So we'll be doing that for all of you guys now. If you're somebody who doesn't want to pull your own angel cards, but if you do, feel free to grab that link below. And I do want to remind you too that, any messages you get in your dreams starting now, especially with this stellium and Pisces, please track that in your intuition tracker in your journal as well. All right, moving back to the Celtic cross here, we have the 8 of air in external factors. It says an illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, afraid to take action. So these are your external factors is normally what this is referring to here. But I do want you to keep in mind too that this is also you. Because this release card that we have as our personal power, our time to move on, that's our personal power. The reason that it's your external factors, like I can't move out of this neighborhood. I've lived here forever and I'm close with my neighbors and I don't know, where I would move to, or, I don't want to leave this work relationship behind because what if that causes my other work relationships to suffer? And it's like, we can't be set in that mindset of what's going to happen if. We have to look and observe our external factors and go, am I really trapped in this relationship? Am I really trapped doing this job or doing this creative project? Am I really trapped with the way I view my health? Those are the 3 areas. So even though this is in the external factors, which often will refer to people around you, what I'm getting is that, especially because of what we have for your personal power, it's really more, where in your life do you feel trapped? that's an illusion. That's not the case. And of course, we'll get clarity when we get to all 12 signs. So let's see what's coming up in your hopes or fears. This is the two sides of the same coin card: fear of success, fear of failure, all those things. What do we have? Queen of Fire, confident, warm, intelligent. It says, I'm covering up the words here. I love this card though. It says, stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and creativity. And when it's coming up in this position right here, what it's ultimately saying is, you know, this is that fear of success. That's what that card is. If I really go big, if I go big and go home, what's the fallout of that? How does that affect my personal relationships? How does that affect my finances? What if I finally, you know, put my art out there, my creative project out there, and it's not received the way my heart wants? Well, we can't allow that to hold us back. That's this card, the illusion of being trapped by your own fears, trapped by your fear of failure, but also that fear of success, which is what I see with most of you light workers when I'm coaching, is you are worried that if this goes really well, how does that affect, you know, my loved ones? How does that affect the other responsibilities I have? And they're asking you to try to flip the script on that and trust that the angels will show you. They'll show you how to handle those things. It's like, I remember when I decided I was going to start this business officially, I was doing readings for free for friends and family and referrals back in 2015, 2016. And 2017, when I decided to actually create a business and go forward, I didn't know how I was going to also do my other jobs. And I didn't know how I was going to find time to do all the things I wanted to do as a mother. And the angels provided. They showed me ways to do all of it, but it took planning, it took observing. And one of the big things for me was, okay, I'm not going to be able to open a storefront and take in-person readings. I'm going to have to do this online. That's the only way I'm going to be able to do it if my kids are homesick or if I have to go up to the school, you know, a couple times a week. So anyways, that is just an illusion, but you have to be willing to take that chance, and you will be rewarded for doing that. So let's see what the final outcome card is, and then we'll get to your all signs here. This is a perfect outcome card, especially with the sun moving into Taurus so soon. We have the King of Earth, generous, professional, responsible, practical, a successful time, confidently accept offers, and opportunities, offers, and the Midas touch. So this is what it's saying essentially. Let me scoot these so you can see them a little better. It's essentially saying that if you're willing to stretch your wings and fly, these opportunities are going to come in and you're going to feel confident taking them because you've been doing all this work. You've been advancing your skills. You've been doing some self-discovery. Like I said, even if you're retired, you're learning something about yourself. You're realizing, oh, you know what? I always thought I'd retire in Arizona, but now I'm realizing I want to retire in Florida. How did I miss that? I've always loved going, you know, I don't know why that one came to my mind. Maybe somebody wants to do that, but you're realizing things about yourself that you're ready to move on from, right? And so be willing to stretch your wings and fly. Be willing to accept the opportunities that come in for you because you're doing the hard work. You are the star of your life, you know, and it hasn't been easy. You know, that's why we're all here together doing this work together, is because it hasn't been easy to keep going, to protect what we've created when there's been stop, go. And then sometimes it's go, go, go. Wait, no, stop. Wait a minute. The hurry up and wait energy, right? So yeah, that's definitely something that, you know, we've all been feeling for sure. I'm going to move on to the all 12 signs, and I'm going to be good about taking timestamps for you guys. So you can come back as many times as you want. Now here is my new deck, or the new one to the channel. I think I actually bought this deck in 2017 when I started my business, but let's see here. Let's take the timestamps here. I'm going to first tell you the decks. This is the Guardian Angel Tarot deck by Radley Valentine. This is the Butterfly Transformation deck, Because what do butterflies represent? Transformation. Did you see my video on butterflies? If you missed it, go check it out. I have bonus angel messages in there, journaling prompts, pocket affirmations for if you see a butterfly. And then one of my favorite decks, the romance deck, which is all about relationships. But even if you're not here for relationships, I mean, we all have relationships in our life. So you might not be looking to call a new one in, but maybe this will reveal something about how you can go to the next level with a relationship. And we can always grow in our relationships, children, parents, spouses, any loved ones, right? All right, so let's see what's coming up here. I just wanted to show you those decks really quickly so you could see what they are. They're so pretty. Okay. Getting everything organized, checking the time. Let's see, we've got Aries first. Aries, what is your timestamp here? There we go. All right, so for Aries, the first card we have for you here is the High Priestess card. Intuition, wisdom, and patience. All right, so you're going to have to step into that High Priestess energy with this full moon opposing your sun. Even if you aren't, you know, an Aries, you have Aries in your chart, right? So something we're being asked to go higher, have that 30,000 foot perspective that the angels do, that things will happen when they are meant to happen. We got that in the Celtic cross, that in the recent past, it just was poor timing. That's why things weren't working. But we want to have that wisdom that everything needs to align for us, right? And that way we can have the highest outcome. So let's see what's coming up for the transformation card for Aries. Aries, we have, oh, aren't these cards so pretty? Heavenly signs. So again, you're getting a lot of signs with this full moon. You may have some passed away loved ones connecting with you, so keep an eye out for that. I have a passed away loved one that will connect with me through yellow butterflies, but I see butterflies for lots of different reasons and different colors. So pay attention to the colors. And then also the this card is talking about with the stellium in Pisces for all of us, that we definitely will be getting messages in our dreams. So that might be where you have a passed away loved one visit you in a dream, or maybe you have a spirit guide visit you in your dream. My husband was telling me this morning that he woke up in the middle of a conversation with somebody, but he doesn't know who it was. And he was trying to remember the name of the movie in the conversation, and then after he woke up, he remembered the name of the movie. And I was like, well, you need to go figure out what that movie means to you, because there was something going on there, right? And then we have the romance card for Aries. We have let go of control issues. Allow the situation to unfold naturally. So this is a common energy we've been getting for Aries, because you guys do want to take charge. You do want to get out there and go big or go home. You do want to just finally say, hey, let's deal with this now. You're not one to turn a blind eye. But again, what are we all getting? We're all getting sit and observe. Ground your energy, look for the signs. Things will begin to move forward. You will begin to feel this energy shift for you. But first, we got to just ground ourselves, do that self-discovery. Since Sun conjunct Chiron is in your sign, Aries, I would work on as much healing as you can, you know? Maybe it's time to take a little staycation, take a retreat, and go spend time alone, tracking your signs and just letting things go, right? So many times we think we have an ability to affect the outcome, especially in a relationship, when really we don't really know what the other person is thinking or feeling. So who's the first person that comes to mind for you when you see let go of control issues, okay? But it may not have to do with the person. It may have to be your relationship to your work, your relationship to your health issues, whatever that is. We want to look for the heavenly signs, let go and let God. I love that for the, whatchamacallit, the Aries, not the whatchamacallit, but you know, those decks. I love that. All right, I'm going to be good about these timestamps here. We have the Tauruses now. Tauruses, what's coming up for you for this full moon? We have the 9 of Fire. Protection, preparedness, resilience. That is powerful. You know, the Tauruses I know are very resilient, very resilient, but you have to have that faith that you're protected, right? So when you begin to feel like things are off, when you begin to feel like, I don't know if this is going to work, go back to the planning. You know, Tauruses, you tend to be very prepared for things, right? And you know, that allows you to be resilient. So the guidance here is to just remember you're protected. And when you do things to be prepared, when you do things to allow you to have that stamina, you are adding protection to your energy there. So let's keep going to clarify this. We have the butterfly transformation card, which is self-care. This has been coming up for you all year, Tauruses. With this full moon, focus on self-care. If you didn't see my 2025 angel messages, definitely go check them out. I did all 12 signs with bonus things in there. And one of the things that came up for Taurus a lot was checking in with what they're consuming, okay? We want to clear toxins out of our energy, and that doesn't just mean food and beverages. That could be the media you're consuming, the conversations you're consuming. If there's people around you that tend to gossip, spill a little too much tea, and it drains your energy, focus on self-care. Maybe for Tauruses, it'd be a great idea to go ahead and, just don't plan too many events where you have to be around a lot of people. So you can go to bed early. So you can do the things that provide the creature comfort, which I forgot to mention for Aries, this full moon is happening in your 7th house of relationships. So very powerful about the let go of control issues. But for Taurus, this is happening in your 6th house of daily routines, health, and work. So you really definitely want to, with this full moon, move away from things that are life negating when it comes to your daily work, your health, and your routines, right? Give yourself that time for self-care. And let's see with your relationships, we have honeymoon. Enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. All right, so who's the first person or people that popped into your mind when you saw that honeymoon card? It doesn't necessarily mean that you're in love, like it's a romantic honeymoon, but maybe you're planning a little trip to the park with your kids and having a picnic, and just getting outside and grounding. So enjoy the bliss of life together. I think that's really powerful. And, remembering that as long as you do the things you need to prepare, like I'm hearing food prep for some of you Tauruses, maybe for all of us out here. Maybe it's a good idea to look into routines that allow you to prep your meals in advance so that you're ready to eat healthy and do the things you need to do and have more time for self-care, because you're not running around trying to put a healthy meal together last minute. All right, moving on to the Geminis. I'm going to get this off and on to the Geminis. So for Geminis, this full moon is happening in your 5th house. This is the house of romantic partners, children, creativity, fun. It's ruled by Leo. So this is good. This is good for Geminis. But let's see what's coming up for your overall energy. You have the Hermit card. Introspection, self-discovery, mentorship. So we're going to get some clarity on what this is exactly, but it feels like what they're wanting you to do is use this full moon to do some introspection, okay? Because, you can be indecisive sometimes because you can see both sides, right? So in order to be able to make the best decision for you, go within, do that self-discovery. That's been a common theme we've seen actually for Geminis over the last few months anyways. So what's coming up for your butterfly card? We have parental care. Parental care. All right, are some of you having to take care of your parents? Are you having to step in a bigger way, Geminis? This is something that you may need to bring in some help with, okay? And in fact, I think we did get this for you either Monday last week regarding that. Now, if your parents aren't with us anymore, it could be something that you're needing to do for yourself. be the parent to yourself. Like, you know, if I were my dad, what would I say about this? Or if I were my mom, what would I say about this? But it's also could just be that, you know, approach something as though you are the parent. Because again, this is the 5th house that this is happening for you in your, you know, in your children, creative projects, all those things, like even if you don't have children. So something regarding something you've given birth to. And we'll see what's coming up in the relationships card to get a little more clarity. So in the relationships card for Geminis, we have chemistry. Chemistry, there's a strong magnetic attraction here, Geminis. All right. So because this is the 5th house, that's very validating. There's something you're excited to do. Maybe you have recently met someone new and you're feeling excited about it. It doesn't have to be romantic. It could be a new friend or a new colleague that you just feel this chemistry with that person. You're like, let's create something together. Let's do something together. But your mind keeps switching back to the last time that didn't work, right? So you do want to look for the chemistry here, especially with where this is in your house. And maybe, you know, there is something going on with your parents or the other person's parents that's affecting that chemistry. So if you can bring in some more help or have some more conversations, that might actually allow you to ignite that chemistry there. Because actually I am feeling for some of you Geminis out there that maybe you're taking care of a parent or your spouse or significant other is, and it's affecting your chemistry. So go ahead and do the self-discovery, see who you could bring in to help you so that you can bring back that chemistry. All right, checking in with the comments here real quickly. I see lots of people commenting. I'm always grateful to see you all here. Oh, thank you, Caroline. I'm glad the glyphs help. Yes, the butterfly cards are pretty, aren't they? These cards, these 2 decks are discontinued. I think they are. Oops, I did that backwards. Because they are by decks by Doreen Virtue, who has left the biz, so to speak. She doesn't do angel cards anymore. But I still love these decks so much. They're amazing. You know, I'll just address this real quickly here. Angel cards, oracle cards, tarot cards, they're simply an extension of you. Okay, so I get that question a lot, like, what if I'm using a deck that's not being used by the author anymore? Like, what does that mean about the deck? And the truth of the matter is they're just tools. They're just extensions of you. So you put your energy into that deck and that's what the information you receive. So you're just using it as a tool. I'm a Capricorn rising. I like the organization of it, and I like the imagery, but I read the cards intuitively, so it doesn't really matter. I tell people all the time, you can make your own card deck, and they would still be valuable as long as you're doing your prayer protection, you're doing that intentional connection. All of this I teach in my angel communication class, which I know some of you were there for, but I do get that question, like, what about this deck? So just remember to always view these things as tools and an extension of you. They will not tell you what to do. They are just meant to guide you and give you that structure and organization like we had in the Emperor card in the Celtic Cross earlier, okay? So I wanted to address that since you were asking. Thank you, AC. All right, so the next deck it's the next sign coming up is the Cancers, my sun sign. How's everybody doing out there? So for Cancers, this is happening in your 4th house of home, family, real estate, security, So be thinking about those things, and let's see what comes up for Cancers. First, we have the 8 of Air card, self-doubt, confusion, free will. Okay, well, this is validating what we were getting in the Celtic Cross, so I feel like this applies to everybody here. You're not trapped. Look at these swords. If this person would just turn around, they would see they have not only all this open space behind them, but there's a sunrise, right? There's a sunrise. So that's super cool. Next Wednesday, the topic is rise. That means rising out of, rising to the next level. right? Enlightenment. We're going to be doing an all signs reading for rise. Obviously, there's some spiritual meaning for that for those of us who follow Yeshua, Jesus, but also just in general, we're going through an elevation. So I really noticed that sunrise in the back there, okay? So we want to rise above what these perceived problems are and stop feeling trapped, right? You're probably getting caught up in confusion here. And you know what? We all have been, Cancers. We all have been waiting for information. We've been confused about our feelings coming up. So since, again, Sun conjunct Chiron is also happening in your 4th house, you might have some things come up with home and family, real estate for healing. Okay. So let's move on to the butterfly transformation deck. We have... Oh, AC says you can still find her decks. Oh, cool. Very cool. Good to know. Hey, Claire, Cancer Sun here as well. Hey, Mary Kate, good to see you joining from Ireland. I'm so glad. Yes. All right. So and I will put the timestamps down so you can come back and watch as much as you want. For the butterfly transformation card, we have for Cancers, realizations and epiphanies. Oh gosh, I just got angel bumps, but that's what's going to happen. You're going to have an epiphany with this energy, and it's going to come from realizing you're not trapped in your past. Just because things always went a certain way in past relationships does not mean they're going to go this way going forward, especially regarding anything that involves your home, your security, feeling secure in your own body, feeling secure in your home. So you're not trapped. You may have to just turn around and walk away. We did get for the personal power. It's time to move on. So you might be ending a relationship. You might be moving out of a home or out of a place you've always lived. 11:55 my time, angel number. And we have the relationship card. Keep an open mind. Keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectation. Okay, so again, I don't always read these literally, but if you are somebody who's considering, walking away from a relationship, it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be a friendship. It could be a colleague or somebody you work with, your boss. Then just try to keep an open mind about where you're headed, because you're not trapped. And I mean, the easiest way to say this is like, I always go for the tall, dark, and handsome kind, and they always break my heart. It's like, okay, well, I mean, what is it? What is the energy that you're attracted there? Maybe you need to be open to a different type of personality that's not so focused on their physical appearance, right? And I don't know if somebody needed to hear that or not, but it could be that just you keep thinking that you have a type, But again, that could be the same thing with work. It's like, I will never live in that part of the country because it's way too cold. And it's like, actually, maybe I will because I'm going to get this job I like, or I met somebody who lives there and there's something about this person, right? So this is really cool. You're going to have some kind of epiphany here, Cancers. I'd love to hear what it is if you want to share after the full moon. Meet me back here in the live. Let me know what's going on with all you guys. All right. I'm excited to have an epiphany. I'm always up for epiphanies. Okay, let's move on to the Leos. Leos, this is happening in your 3rd house. So that's short distance travel, communication, publishing, podcast, neighbors, siblings, aunts and uncles. So let's see what's coming up for you guys here, Leos. All right. I already just heard some of you Leos are going to be changing like how you get to work. I don't know if you're changing jobs, your commute's going to be different, or you're going to start working from home. Something's changing for some of the Leos out there. Let's see what we got here. We got the 2 of Air card, indecision, avoidance, confusion. Okay, so this card is saying that kind of like the 8 of Air card, you're not willing to look for other options. Right? My good friend Chris Reck over at Minnow Pond Tarot, he calls the 2 of Swords, which is this, that's what this is in tarot, the this or that thinking. Like you only have this option, the sword on the left, or that option, the sword on the right. And really and truly, that's not true. You could just walk through the swords and go look for another option way down this pathway. I really like this card for the 2 of Air. So what I'm actually feeling for Leos, is right now you're avoiding something. All right. You're avoiding something. So let's get some clarification for Leos. Leos, you have in the transformation card, hobbies. Hobbies. Isn't this deck so pretty? Hobbies. This is something you love, something you want to do. It's going to transform your life. Have you always done something that you're really good at because you love it? Could it become a business? Could you start a side business so that you eventually could leave your job and work from home? Let's see what's coming up in your relationships. Retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world, Leos. Yeah, it's time to turn off the social media, turn off the TV, take some time, don't answer your texts, don't answer your emails, let your loved ones know where you are, don't disappear. But you're going to need to get some clarity with this full moon, Leos. I mean, if you're able to go somewhere by yourself for this full moon, even if it's not on the day of, maybe just this week, take yourself somewhere, go journal, go do something you love. Like maybe it's a hobby that you haven't done in a while, right? Go do something, retreat from the world. You can take your loved one with you. This is a couple that's retreating, so it doesn't mean you have to leave your family behind, but retreat from these outside influences that are pressuring you. If you've had people come after you lately about something, or attack you that you felt was unfair or was just flat out wrong, retreat to your hobbies. Go do what you love, okay? Get out there, get outside in nature, bring your loved ones if you want to, but then you will have that powerful revelation that's coming for all of us to move away from something. There's something you're going to be moving away from. So let me know what you decide to move away from. Are you changing jobs? Are you starting a new job? Are you going to start traveling, Leos? But speaking of Virgos, this is happening in your second house, which is finances, self-worth, budgeting, some astrologers refer to it as it also affects your grocery budget, day-to-day spending. It can involve other people's resources too, or the way they affect your resources. That tends to be more 8th house stuff. But if you've been dealing with 8th house stuff and other people's resources, you're going to still see that again, Virgo, right now with this full moon. Things are going to be revealed to you that are allowing you to see, okay, here's a better way to handle my finances. And, also what I just heard is self-worth with a project or something you want to do. This full moon is going to reveal to you how ready you are for this next step. Hey, Casglow, good to see you there. So let's see what's coming up for Virgos. In the energy we have, I keep doing these upside down, 10 of Earth. And this is your second house. So this is 10 of Pentacles, prosperity, security, tradition. So this full moon's bringing in security for you, financial security, okay? It may take some transformation, we'll see. But this is happening for you, Virgos, to bring in a positive change with your self-worth and your finances. So let's see what's happening with the butterfly card. Motivation. Okay, so you're waiting till you feel motivated to do something that's going to affect your finances, but you're going to get that motivation with this full moon. You're going to be ready to make the investment, to invest the time, to hire the people that you need help with things, to really take more time working on the things your heart wants, and it will ultimately be something that benefits your finances. So let's see what we have for relationships here. We have the signs are cautioning you, pay attention to the red flags. All right, so what's been coming up for you lately in your relationships, Virgos, that you're like, something seems a little off with this. Maybe that's why I haven't felt motivated. Maybe that's why I can't get clear on where to invest my time and energy, because something's off, okay? That's going to be revealed to you. So remember to pay attention to the red flags, and that will guide you to what you need to move away from. There's something that you need to release. Follow the red flags. My husband and I got really into that BoJack series on Netflix years ago when it came out, and we still will put it on and watch it again. But there's a line in there about when you wear rose-colored glasses, all the flags look the same, which is so true in the beginning of relationships. When you're like really in love with somebody, you're wearing rose-colored glasses, and so you can't tell if it's a red flag, right? You're just in love. All right, let's move on to the Libras. This is your full moon here. Oh my goodness. What was going on with you a year ago, Libras? Because this full moon is going to be really powerful. It's always powerful for us all to reflect back to the last full moon in that sign. So I guess I could have said that up front, that if you want, go back and look in your emails and your photos from a year ago from this full moon. What was going on in your emails, in your life, in your relationships, and see what's changed since then, and see the things that you've were wanting that now you finally feel ready to do, and see the things that you really don't want in your life anymore. And this is for all of us, not just for Libras, but Libras, because this is actually happening in your first house, which is your identity. It's your physical body. It's this initiation energy. Even though new moons tend to be the initiation energy and full moons needs to be the ending, you may be ending something so that you can begin something, right? What are you doing? Are you retiring so you can finally travel the world? Are you leaving a job so you can finally start your own business? Are you leaving a relationship because you know in your heart that things aren't working and you're ready to find that ideal partner who can travel the world with you, who can support you in your career, who can be that ideal partner, okay? So let's see what's coming up for Libras. I did write the timestamp, right? Yes, I did. Got to check on there. Nope. There we go. All righty, Libras, for your energy card, we have King of Earth. King of Earth. And if you're just joining, I will put the timestamps in so you can go back, and as soon as we get off air, I'll go put them in. Of course, I do have the icons here so you can scroll on your own, but I'll put the timestamps in so you can click to your, it creates chapters at the bottom so you can click right to it. And we'll do the bonus reading at the end. So this is really, really positive too. King of Earth, prosperous, generous, successful. I love that for the Libras. So I am feeling that, you know, even though this is your first house, there are things coming up with your career that are going to transform with this full moon. So that's exciting. And if you're retired, it's your legacy. It's your public reputation. Something you will finally be able to bring to fruition because of something you're releasing with this full moon. And then you're going to really see things take off for you. So let's see what the transformation card is for Libras. Grief work. Okay, so there's some work around grief that would really help you, or it could be you will begin helping others move through their grief. So maybe you're taking a turn with the work you do because you've been through grief. You know how it feels. You've done the work to move through the grief, and so that could really benefit you. But for some other Libras out there, there's actually going to be some grief work you need to do around this ending in order to have this prosperity. So, you know, it doesn't have to be a big thing. It could just be the grief over the end of a phase in your life. Like, you know, my kids are going off to college. It's an empty nest. So I finally have time to work on my business and what I want to work on, but I'm kind of sad that we're done with that phase in our life, right? So do the work, and then let's see what's coming up in your relationships. Romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. All right, who was the first person that popped into your mind, Libras? It doesn't have to be a romantic partner. It could be the romance that you feel about changing your life. changing your direction, your career, what you leave behind in the world, right? Do you get that romantic feeling about opening that Airbnb? Do you get that romantic feeling about traveling? So it doesn't have to be with another person. But again, we had that new moon in Aries in your 7th house, which is about long-term relationships. And the sun is in your 7th house of relationships. If you're a Libra sun, Libra rising. So, there could be someone that you're feeling romantic feelings for. Maybe somebody is like, nope, I'm done with relationships. And then all of a sudden, after doing the grief work, you're open to it. And maybe you need to do some grief around do some work around a grief with a current relationship to take that relationship to the next level or bring that romance back. But you'll know what that is for you, Libras. Usually it's the first person that pops into mind, but it could be any long-term relationship. All right, moving on for the Scorpios. Scorpios, this is happening in your 12th house. So you've been kind of going through it, right? This is, the unseen, the dream realm, higher past lives, higher connection, unseen enemies, like hidden enemies, but not that you need to worry about that, but it may just be that you're realizing, oh my gosh, somebody is not on my team like I thought they were, right? So let's see what's coming up for Scorpios. We have the Empress card, creation, abundance, action. See, this angel has a baby, so giving birth to something. So there's something new that you're wanting to do, but first something has to change with the way you view yourself, like deep subconscious thoughts you have about yourself. In order to have this transformation, you're going to have to do that deeper, I don't want to say shadow work, but maybe that is the right way to say it. Just like face the things about yourself that create self-sabotage, Scorpios. So what are you doing that ends up creating a self-sabotage, especially when it comes to some kind of creative project? You need to be doing the work around that and releasing that so that you can bring in this new thing. For the butterfly card, you have the religion and spirituality. There we go. All right, so 12th house here. There's something from your past. And this happened in last week's reading. Go check out the reading I did with the ladybugs. If you missed it, we did a past life reading for all 12 signs. And we talked about how many of us made vows in our past life. Or if you're not somebody who believes in past lives, think of the time from when you were born to age 30. What were the things that you vowed to live by that no longer resonate? You might have been born into a particular religion that looks down upon your current spiritual practices. You grew into a spiritual practice, and the religion you were born into says, that's not what we do here. You've got to release that. Anything that's holding you back from the past, that's what is causing the self-sabotage. You know what I mean? And, I hear this question all the time. It's like, I'm a Christian. How do I handle like communicating with the angels when some churches or types of religion frown upon that? And it's like, you do have to be willing to release these restrictions that have been put on you and ask your heart, what do you really want? And that can really benefit you by releasing all that. So let's see what's coming up in your relationship card here, Scorpios. We have release your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. So, maybe your ex-husband was like really anti-metaphysical things, or maybe you have a church you were so devoted to and you left it behind and you're still feeling a lot of grief and guilt over that. So it's your ex-church. It's your ex-religion, right? And, it could also be past life stuff. It could even be stuff from your childhood. Because this is your 12th house, it could very well be a very, very old past relationship, but with this Venus retrograde, you're thinking about it a lot more. It's like the one that got away, or the one that you thought you were going to marry until you learned something about them. And you're having to still like work through that. And if you were married to this person, it could be that you're just there's still some guilt. And 12/12 my time, by the way, I have a video on 12/12. There's something around the marriage vows that you need to release and heal so that you can really move on with this new relationship, new project, or new anything that you want to bring into your life. So I love that for Scorpios. All right. And by the way, Scorpios, I know some of you are like, I'm over all my exes. I would never want them back. But, sometimes there's still like wounds around conversations, like things they said that stick with you. And subconsciously, they affect your confidence in yourself, right? And so then we tend to self-sabotage because we don't realize we're still hearing what that partner said to us or that parent said to us over and over, and it creates that self-sabotage. All right, so Sagittarius says, we have you guys at this timestamp here, and we have this full moon happening in your 11th house, your social networks, the people you surround yourself with, community. All right, Sagittarius, so what's coming up for you guys? First, we have the 9 of Water card, wishes, dreams, happiness. Ooh, I love this. She's making a wish on the dandelion. All right, so Sagittarius, you need to make a wish because you're like, I don't know what wish I want to make, or I don't know I know what I want to do, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know when I'm going to have time to do it. And I don't know how I'm going to tell this person this. It's time to just make that wish, Sagittarius, especially with this happening in your 11th house. Maybe you need to say it out loud. Maybe you need to release that wish to your partner, to your colleague, to your boss. I have this dream that one day we're living by the beach and I'm working from home or something like that. Like, make that wish, but make it known, right? You can make it known to yourself. Just write it in your journal. You can write your wish down. Usually it's new moons that we do these kinds of things, but they're actually asking you to do this now because you've been asked with every moon, Sagittarius, to start moving in the direction of what your heart wants, what your emotions are telling you. And when you make that wish from the heart, that emotion is what's really going to give you the clarity. So let's see what's coming up in your butterfly transformation card. You have adult children. Adult children. Okay, so there may be children in your life that are they're starting to not need you as much. They may not be full-grown adults, but they're starting to transform as well. And this is giving you the opportunity to change things. It could be that other people's children are affecting you. And the way that you're interacting with them or the way that they're affecting your energy is not so good. You need to let go of it. Maybe, I'm sorry to say it, but maybe somebody in your life is acting like a big baby. Like, that's what I'm also getting. Like, some of you have someone in your life that they are not acting like an adult. They're acting like a child, right? But they're an adult. So somebody needed to hear that specifically. For some of you, it could be that, your children are grown. They are busy with their own lives. And you need to make it known to them the things that you want. Like, maybe you're like, hey, I really wish we could plan a family vacation. I know you guys are busy, but let's talk about it. So let me pull your relationship card and see what else we have here for Sagittarius. We have the very soon card. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. So yeah, that's the thing that I keep getting for Sagittarius. It's like, you are so good at so many things. There are so many different things you could do that you're afraid to just pick one and make a wish. It's almost like the 7 of Cups card, where Chris Reck always calls that the spoiled for choice card. It's like, you are spoiled for choice, Sagittarius, because you're so good at so many things. So just make a wish, and then you're going to start to see this thing come way sooner than you realize. And maybe you do have an adult child who can help you with that, right? They can give you some advice. They can support you. All right, what's coming up for the Capricorns? My rising sign. Hello, Capricorns. This full moon is happening in your 10th house of career, public reputation, and legacy. So even if you're retired, it's what you leave behind. And it doesn't have to be material things. It could be what you were known for. Like you were the person everybody went to for advice on healing, herbal remedies. You were the grandparent that was always so wise and helpful. So this could be anything like that with your 10th house, Capricorns. What's coming up for you guys? We have the Page of Earth card. Studious, prepared, cheerful. So this is interesting since this was also our crossing energy for the entire collective when we did the Celtic cross about, hey, like I've put all this time and energy into this. I've learned all this knowledge. I've advanced my skills. Like, when am I going to be able to use these things? I've been an apprentice. I've taken the classes. I've got the resources. Like, let's do this, right? Well, Capricorns, don't worry. I can relate. I'm a Capricorn rising. It definitely feels sometimes like we've got everything we need to get going. But as I said in the Celtic cross, it's just not the right time. So you have to keep holding space, keep advancing those skills, keep working on those projects behind the scenes because that opportunity will come. So let's see what the transformation card is for Capricorns. We have leaving. You're leaving something behind. I've been getting this energy a lot for Capricorns. This could be leaving the way that you, leaving the way you approach your career or public reputation. It could be that you changing your career or changing something is affecting your public reputation. It could be that, I don't know, like I feel like some of you are worried about your public reputation if you do leave someone or something or some project behind, right? It's like, I feel this thing is leaving from my life or that I need to leave this situation. But how is that going to affect my career? How is that going to affect my public reputation? It's like, I remember when I started this business in 2017, I was the PTA treasurer. I mean, talk about leaving an energy behind from like what everybody thought was this very like left-brained person in the community doing very mom-like things to doing angel readings online, right? So leaving that behind did affect my public reputation, but it was so I could use the skills I had, right? And it was absolutely worth the repercussions of that, like we had in the outcome card about like being fearful of success. So let's see what's coming up for the relationship cards for the Capricorns. Flirt. Extend your lighthearted energy to others. All right, so I'm getting that for some Capricorns, you're leaving some kind of dynamic in a relationship behind, and so that you can share your light with the world. So it could be that you are leaving a relationship because it's keeping you from sharing your love with the world. It's keeping you from going bigger with your career. It could be that, maybe some of you are considering leaving a partner and you are worried about how that's going to affect your public reputation, but they're asking you to flirt with the idea of what are the things you could do if you weren't being held back by that energy. Just flirt with those ideas. We were getting that with the card, the readings on Monday. So check those out. All of us were getting that idea of the 5-year, 3-year, 1-year plan, right? And then think back about 1 year ago. What relationships have you left behind from a year ago, Capricorns? That could give you an idea, was it a situation where you wouldn't even flirt with the idea of leaving and then it ended anyways? Right? Now, also for some Capricorns, this is just taking a relationship to the next level. Maybe you've been in a stalemate energy with somebody. If it is work related, maybe you got to reach out to somebody here and be like, hey, I like your work. Would you ever want to collaborate? Or even if you're not asking them to collaborate, you're just, commenting on their videos and you're, signing up for their courses and you're getting to know them so they get to know your energy, right? So especially if it is career, but just get to know people, get out there. You tend to take charge and do things yourself, but flirt with other people, see where things could go. It's going to be positive for Capricorns. All right. And of course, if that resonated with any of the other signs listening here, definitely write it down in your book of evidence. Give your future self that gift of hindsight and connecting the dots. Aquarians, we have this full moon happening for you in your 9th house. All right. This is long distance travel, spiritual teachers, foreign entities and countries. This is, my brain just left me. Higher education there. It's also like learning esoteric things, which Aquarians tend to be really good at, right? You're so intellectual. Doing the deep dives that other people won't do, Aquarians. All right, so let's see what's coming up for Aquarians with this full moon. The energy for you is the King of Air card. Knowledgeable, objective, respected. Yes, I love this. It's an air card, which you are an air sign, Aquarians. And this is you being seen as practical. This is people respecting you. And like I said, with this happening in your 9th house, people see you as a spiritual teacher. People see you as somebody they want to learn from. Like, you're so knowledgeable and you're so practical with the way you deliver your knowledge. People, they want to take your class. They want to sign up for your podcast and your webinar and the things you're doing. If you're retired, they want to come to you for advice. They want to get your opinion on things. All right, because you're so knowledgeable. So this is super positive. Aquarians, let's see what's coming up in the butterfly card here for you guys. We have courage. Courage. So again, I'm hearing that go big or go home phrase for Aquarians. You're going to have the courage to put yourself out there and speak up, right? Be very confident in the word, in the knowledge you're sharing, in the things you have to offer others. When you really show how courageous you are, people will flock to you and just they're going to respect what you have to say. So I love that. AC says King of Air is Aquarius. That makes perfect sense. I didn't realize that, but that makes perfect sense. See, this is why I don't call myself a tarot reader, because I don't study all the little nuances. I read intuitively, but that's really fascinating, AC. Thank you. All right, and then for the relationship card for Aquarians, we have separation. Time apart from your partner is on the horizon. Okay, and some people immediately get worried about this. Sometimes this just means you're taking a trip, or they're taking a trip, right? They're going on a retreat. You're going away for a work project. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. This could be a very positive card. Now, for some of you, this could actually be maybe you've been working with an educational institution and you're leaving that institution. If you a professor at a university, you're like, I want to move into this other university and teach, or I want to stop teaching at a school and I want to teach on my own. I want to host my own classes online, right? So there's something that you're leaving behind. And I'm feeling for a lot of you, it is colleagues. Maybe you work with a group of other teachers and it's time for you to separate yourself from those teachers so that you can show your knowledge in a bigger way. You can show that you are much more objective. So I think this is really, really positive for the Aquarians. Keep me posted on what you guys are doing. You got any online classes coming up? All right, moving on to the Pisces. I lost my pen here. Pisces, this full moon is happening in your 8th house of other people's resources, the intimacy. Just like it's an intense house for sure. So you're probably already feeling this. But definitely regarding other people's resources, how you affect other people when you share your resources, or how other people affect you when they share their resources with you. But also it can have to do with intimacy. If you've got some intimacy issues, if you've been avoiding intimacy with others, because that has been coming up for the Pisces lately, that they really need to get out there in a bigger way. If you've been wanting to call in that romantic partner, you've got to get out there. My 2025 angel messages said that for Pisces, if you guys will travel this year, you're going to meet some cool people. It might not be your romantic partner you meet, but it might be somebody who introduces you to your romantic partner down the road. Okay. So what do we have for Pisces energy for this full moon? We have the King of Fire. Great card here. Inspirational, charismatic, and innovative. So again, let your light shine, Pisces. Get out there in a bigger way. People will love it. They will see the way that you are innovating things with this stellium in Pisces. Saturn going through there, North Node there. It's like, come on, let's take things to the next level. Pisces are so important throughout these next few decades that we're going through these big changes worldwide. And you're going to be demonstrating to a lot of us out there how to really be innovative with the way you use your intuition, right? And when you let people see those Pisces eyes of yours, they're going to see the truth there. They're going to really be like, wow, this person inspires me. You know, there's a reason Pisces are known for their eyes. You're old souls. You're the oldest of the zodiac. And people can see all the way through to the truth. You're a truth revealer, Pisces. Now, sometimes there can be illusions in there that we create with self-doubt. So lean into that charisma there, Pisces. And let's see what's coming up for the butterfly card for you. We have support. Support. So lean on your best friend. Lean on your spiritual team. Lean on others to help you get out there in a bigger way. You know, if you're wanting to have that online, you know, that podcast or that YouTube channel, maybe you need to hire some help getting started with that. Get out there. You know, it might not be physical travel that your spiritual team wants you to do this year. It wants your voice to travel and your image to travel across the internet waves, you know, so that people can see you there and they can support you, or you can get the support you need. And then for your relationships, we have forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. Yeah, so I think a lot of you Pisces that haven't been able to move forward with a relationship or actually meet somebody in a while is because there's still things from your past relationships. Which sign got the release your ex card? I forgot. There's still some of you that are needing to really forgive and see what you learned from those past heartbreaks, even if they were having to do with career. It doesn't have to do with, it doesn't have to be romantic. Oh, thank you, Lillian. We're going to do your bonus reading right after this. Stay tuned. We're coming up on the bonus reading, but I appreciate you being here. AC says, all queens are cardinal signs and all knights are mutable signs per each corresponding suit and element. That's right. I've read that before back when I read the tarot books, and all kings are fixed signs per each corresponding element and suit. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder there. Yeah. Years ago when I read the tarot books, I just haven't stayed up with them. But yeah, so this is good for Pisces, you know, just see what you learned from those relationships and then use that to heal. So that's really powerful for the Pisces. I hope you'll get out there in a bigger way. You're beautiful and the world needs your energy. All right, so we're going to move on to this bonus reading here. How's everybody doing in the comments? We have the bonus reading happening right now. And I'm going to do my traditional card pull where I have the present energy, the near future energy, and the future is what I'm calling it. It's just, you know, like the near future could be this afternoon, it could be tonight, and this could be tomorrow, or this could be tomorrow and this is the next day. You'll know what resonates with you. It's like a collective reading. So you just have to go with the flow and observe, like we said. And then we're going to have the 2 action cards. So what do we do with all this energy and all this guidance, right? One of the things we already know we're supposed to be doing, observing, grounding and observing, right? All right, so what's our first card here? Awakening. Look at things from a different perspective, a temporary standstill. It's important to be yourself. This is pure validation here for everything we've been getting. You know, what was the card we were having earlier about releasing, right? That was a big thing that we were seeing theme-wise is things have not been moving forward. We're waiting for information. We're waiting for someone else to make a decision. We're just like in this energy of not moving forward, it's happening for us because it wasn't the right time. So this card is saying, hey, it's all temporary. Things are going to move forward, but you're meant to have this new perspective. Just make sure you're really being yourself in your communication. So when you have that aha moment, which all of you are going to have an aha moment, so make sure you are keeping your journal with you everywhere you go, writing down everything in your intuition tracker, because that's how you're going to connect these dots and see these realizations. Go back and look at the full moon in Libra that happened last year. What has changed for you? And see what kind of epiphanies come through. I highly recommend you go sit outside under the stars for this full moon, weather permitting, and just really soak it in. You can start doing it right now. You could go out tonight. If you're watching this early, you can do it the night after as well if you're watching it later. But go out and allow these spiritual downloads to come through, and that will help you have that epiphany. All right, moving on to the near future card, we have Eight of Water. Eight of Water, a desire to move on, the search for something more meaningful, spiritual and emotional growth. Well, we already know from the Celtic cross that, you need to be prepared to move on from something. There's something that's coming to an end. It's time to move on. It's about having that perspective of, all right, how can I look at this differently? How can I learn from this? How can I release this in a way that is healthy in the highest interest of all? And that's going to be your personal power there. And yes, it is coming up a lot, AC, you're right, because it's just so powerful to do that reflection with these full moons and to trust that, things will happen in the divine timing that they are meant to happen. We just got to stay in divine flow. Like we said in the beginning, I am in divine flow. All right, so the future card here coming up, Two of Earth. Too much work going on at once. The need to make a decision. Consider a more playful approach. So this card is validating everything about us trying to push something. If something is not feeling in a flow, it's probably not the right time. Take that more playful approach. Get outside, do something different, And yes, you do have a lot going on right now. We all do. But what are some things that you could maybe put on the back burner for a little bit so you can address the things that are important to you? I know for me personally, lately, I've had a lot of things going on in our home, which of course I have some fourth house transits going on, right? And I've had a hard time getting to some of my bigger work projects because in my mind, I'm like, I've got to handle this issue. I've got to handle that issue. And actually just stopping and handling the issue was the better thing, because if I had tried to work on these creative projects in that state of mind, it wouldn't have been in flow anyways. It would have just been frustrating. So keep that in mind too. It just could be that you just have too much going on right now. And if you could take that playful approach, it's really going to benefit you. So adding that to this awakening card here, that temporary standstill, maybe you need to hit the pause button on something, Maybe have you thought about talking to your partner or your boss or your friend about changing the timeline with something, putting something off, taking something off your plate, asking for help with something so that you have more time for what you want to invest in? I think that could be really beneficial as well. All right, moving to the action cards here. The first action card we have, Five of Earth. Fears surrounding money, the wisdom to accept help from others, uncertain self-employment. All right, this is coming up as the action card. So what it's asking you to do is focus on the resources you have. Do not focus on what you don't have. Avoid being caught in lack. And especially since we are being asked to move on from certain things, it might be time to realize, okay, this is coming to the end. I'm not really sure how to handle this. I'm not really sure why or where I'm going to go next. What do I have available to me now? We know for one thing, you have your spiritual team. You have your angels. Ask for help. We know another thing you have is hindsight. Review things. Look back at that relationship. Look back on how things changed and see the things that happened that caused you to realize it's time to move on. My heart's not in this anymore, or I want to go in a new direction. It doesn't always mean endings. It sometimes means end of a phase, right? When somebody graduates from high school and goes to college, they're not ending their studying, they're ending that phase of being, in the high school world under the roof of their parents, and they're going to a new phase of learning where they're away from home, and it's a different type of structure for learning, right? So just a reminder there too, if any fear comes up around endings for you, trusting that it could just be the end of a phase. These things are ultimately taking us to the next level, right? All right, so what's the final bonus card we have here, everybody, for the second action to take? We have the Three of Earth card, the power of creativity, recognition for very high quality work. Be a team player. I love this because that's an action card too. Be a team player. Maybe you do need to reach out and ask somebody to collaborate with you. Maybe you do need to take a break from work and be a good team player for your family. Spend more time with your children, with your spouse, with your parents, with anybody that needs a little support. If things are not moving forward, just take a break from it. Like they said, take a playful approach. And that's going to help you with going through this energy of waiting for things to finally start moving. Because like I said, we're still being asked to observe, not necessarily take action. Of course, there's always things that we need to take action on. But, like we need to take action on getting out of bed every morning and eating a healthy breakfast or whatever that is for you. But there are other things that you really don't have to take action on right now. Wait for the flow. So the way that you could be a team player is saying, you know what, honey, I was thinking about taking off Friday afternoon. Why don't we go do some shopping and find that, piece of furniture you wanted. I don't know why that one came into my mind, but just being a team player, it's like, well, I really want to get this project done, but my friend needs me to help them with this thing. And, I'm kind of frustrated anyway. So I think that'd be fun. I'll just go help my friend. Those are the actions to take there. Like I said, these are the action cards. So focus on the things you do have in your life and then be a team player, right? That's ultimately going to bring in more resources. So if you're feeling fearful, then, maybe it's time to volunteer for something so that you can get those contacts where you can move ahead with the projects when the time is right. And again, taking that playful approach for everything will be really, really valuable with this full moon. I hope that you will keep your journal by you all week and the week after. Make sure you took note of those dates. I will be back Monday and Wednesday next week live. And I will, for my community members, whenever there's a nudge, I will be popping in there. So keep an eye out at that as well. Don't forget to sign up for my free newsletter at devondoer.com if you're new, to get my free ebook, Is It a Sign? So you can start tracking these signs in your journal right now. And I'm just feeling like this moon is going to feel like a bookend, for a lot of the stuff we've been dealing with. Again, not till May will we finally feel like, oh, wow, we're really out of it. But this is the beginning of us feeling like we're moving out of it. So I think that that's a really positive thing to keep in mind. Make sure you're doing your affirmations right when you wake up in the morning. Today is a good day. I am in perfect health. I am in divine flow. I am loved. Do your pocket affirmations as soon as you wake up in the morning. Do your journaling, your gratitude, connect with your angels. Yeah, take time every day to connect with your angels. Thanks for being here, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye.